again, and welcome back to Breakfast All Day. Alonso and I are still here on this wonderful January morning. Oh boy, is it January. However, the movie we're about to talk about is a lot better than I think you would expect from this time of year.
And this title.
Right, it's called The Kid Who Would Be King. Alonso, please tell us about it.
Sure, so it's about a young boy who is bullied in school and being raised by a single mom. While running from those bullies, he winds up on a construction site where he sees a sword in a stone, and he pulls it out, and wouldn't you know it, it's that sword and that stone, and he is the new bearer of Excalibur, which means that Merlin shows up as a somewhat whacked out teenager occasionally, and then occasionally he's Patrick Stewart. Merlin prepares this kid for the return of the sorceress Morgana, played by Rebecca Ferguson, who wants to basically subsume all of the UK into darkness and chaos. And it's better than you would think. It's written and directed by Joe Cornish, who did Attack the Block, which is a great movie. It's funny. This is the week of new movies from people who made earlier films that we really loved. I think this movie is better if you think about it as it's a much better spin on the Arthurian legend than Guy Ritchie's King Arthur was.
Oh God, yes.
Better to think of it that way than to think of it as the new film from Attack the Block, because it's not quite as good as Attack the Block, but it has a lot of that same energy and unpredictability and unlikely heroes, I guess.
Yeah, this reminded me of some 80s kids movies that had real stakes and real danger to them, like Time Bandits.
Yeah.
Or like The Goonies.
I've heard a lot of Goonies comparisons.
Right, in that you have kids who are in legitimately perilous situations.
Right.
And it's scary. I mean, and there are monsters, and the film never condescends and never coddles them. Like, they have to be resourceful. They've got to figure things out for themselves and work together as a team. And there's kind of a joyous kid energy about that, but also it's not safe. Like, there's something kind of scary about it in a way that we don't see very often in kids' movies anymore, but we did during a certain era of the 1980s.
And I like the fact that, for example, the bullies wind up having to become part of his sort of new Knights of the Round Table. And at first you think, wow, that was a quick conversion. But no, it turns out it's going to take a while for them to stop being jerks.
Right. It's in their DNA still.
Exactly, yeah. And so there's this, they have to sort of fail before they can succeed. I think it felt a little long, like in terms of there's a lot of steps to go through to get to the big sort of CG finale. Mm-hmm. But overall, I was entertained by it, and I think who plays Merlin, that kid's amazing.
I don't know.
Oh well, sorry.
I gotta look him up. But if I look him up, let's see if I can do it on my laptop.
My phone is in use for the YouTube thing.
Let me
so
see if I can
not
figure
having
this
it written
out.
down in front of me. But,
hold on. I'm bad. I'm bad about these things. But let's make sure I'm still recording while we're doing this, because sometimes.
Yeah, I know. It's
we're still talking. Hooray! Congrats. Technology, as you guys may have noticed, technology is elusive and challenging to us sometimes.
We didn't grow up with smartphones, so we're not as magical as a lot of y'all are.
Young Merlin's a guy named Angus Emery.
Okay.
And he's got a really cool kind of like twitchy, squirrely energy about him, but he's also the smartest person in the room at all times, and so he's like frustrated with them for being mortal.
Yes.
And messing up and not getting things right. And he becomes an owl, like he'll sneeze and become an owl, and then he'll sneeze and become Patrick Stewart again.
And they figure out a fun way for him to get like these sort of weird elements like beaver blood or whatever that keep him young, that he manages to find in an unlikely place. So I enjoyed it.
It does a good job of blending the magical with the realistic, right? Because the settings do feel very much like modern day, urban homes and kids and schools, and it feels like that makes it feel accessible. But then there are like legitimate big CGI things. Louis Ashbourne Serkis, we should say, is the young kid who becomes the king. He is son of Andy Serkis. He previously did the voice. If you guys saw that motion capture Mowgli that Andy Serkis directed, Louis Ashbourne Serkis is the voice of one of the cute young. Oh God, what is
The wolves?
Is he a cub? Is he a wolf? I guess he's like a wolf cub. Are they cubs? Are they pups? When they're babies,
whatever.
tadpoles.
Little baby wolf.
He's the voice of that. And he's got kind of a likable scruffiness about him.
Yeah, like I was having a conversation with somebody where they thought that, oh, he's the kind of kid that you cast as the sidekick. And that's sort of what I liked about the casting of him, is that he is not like this, model, like magazine layout child, who is also the chosen one. Like, he is this very sort of regular, relatable kid. And the movie, I think, also says a lot about how, heroism isn't about lineage, and it's not about, ancestry. It's just about individual, excellence or whatever. And so somebody was saying it felt like a direct jab at all the people who were insisting on knowing, like, who Rey's parents were in the new Star Wars movies. Oh. It's like, who cares? Like, that's not, it's not the thing that necessarily has to get passed down through the bloodline. It can just be that someone is exceptional.
Right, and then along those lines, there are some like legitimate emotional stakes as far as
him
understanding who he is and what his family is. Also, Dean Chamu is the name of the young man who is Louis Ashbourne Serkis's best friend,
yeah.
Who is kind of like schlubby and nerdy and like sweetly awkward, but he has his own moments to shine here and there. So it's a nice crew of actors that maybe you don't really know, maybe you have never seen before, and that gives it an authenticity as far as being able to jump into this world with them and feel like they are actual kids going on an adventure. So.
Yes, and Rebecca Ferguson, of course, is wonderfully villainous.
Yes.
She's not afraid to go big on this one.
Yeah. I would say, though, if you have little kids and you're thinking about bringing them, there are some kind of frightening images. They frequently have to run from and fight off these entire like cavalcades of flaming skeletons on horseback.
Yes, this is true.
Wearing armor and swords, and like they're on fire, and they're quite relentless. And then what happens with Rebecca Ferguson's character might be a little scary too in the CGI department.
Right.
So I would say for very little kids, I would stay away from this. But I brought Nick, and he's 9, and he has read enough and seen enough that has the Merlin and Morgana mythology in it that he was really excited, including the Magic Treehouse books and Troll Hunters, the Guillermo del Toro series on Netflix. Troll Hunters has a whole, a lot of Merlin and Morgana stuff. So if your kids like to read and they like that kind of adventure story, they might be into it from that regard.
Have you shown him Disney's The Sword and the Stone?
I don't think I have.
Oh my God.
What a bad parent I am. I'm taking him to Lego Movie 2 tonight, so he's very excited about that. And then last night, he and Chris went to the comic book store, and Chris got him a couple of, they now have like Miles Morales comic books. They have like Spider-Verse Miles Morales comic books.
Well, I mean, they've had them for a while.
But these are like new ones post-film.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Specifically tied into.
It's come full circle. And
well, like Marvel's no dummy about that kind of stuff. Like, they're like, oh, you like this in a movie? Here's 10 titles with these characters.
Get that merch out to those kids with the extra cash from lawn mowing or whatever it is. So,
but yeah, for a January kids movie, this is a lot more fun than you might think it is.
I agree. So I'm saying 7.
I said 6.5. It's I think there are moments that don't quite gel in the way you want it, but overall, I had a good time, and I am amazed that it's taken this long for Cornish to get a second film directed. Because
2011 was it?
Yeah,
okay.
Because Attack the Block wasn't a hit, but I think it's become a film that people talk about a lot. It's the movie where John Boyega was kind of discovered, so yeah. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, he's back. Check it out.
Yes, it's at 87% on the tomato meter, so The Kid Who Would Be King, go see it.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We're at BeFast All Day on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This is a YouTube show. It's also a podcast, and so if you can either find us on YouTube or you can subscribe at Apple Podcasts, where you should totally leave us a 5-star review, or on Google Play or Spotify or Stitcher or SoundCloud, all those places. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you later.
Thanks, bye.